Take a moment to establish your center. Close your eyes, sit up tall. Open your shoulders, your heart. And focus on your spine. Connecting the earth and the sky. Start to tune in, to focus your lens. When you feel stable, then shift your attention to your breath. Inhale and exhale until it becomes smooth. Then direct your eyes to the center of your brain. Look at the center of your brain or the top of your head. Presence, cultivating presence. The key is rest in that state of deep presence, not knowing. The present moment cannot be known. So you have to learn the taste of presence. It's a kind of vibration, a rhythm. We don't need words. This isn't a talk for the sake of words. But in the silence, in the stillness, we can connect at a deep level in presence. Presence is beyond mind and thinking. To be present is not a thought. And so, center yourself. Keep coming back to center. Keep tuning your inner compass. Until it becomes very smooth, very soft, very quiet. Your body is very quiet. Your heart is very quiet. Your mind is very quiet. At home, at ease, in tune. Be quiet. For a moment, be quiet. Means don't think about the past or the future. We must cultivate this state of no mind. Because the deeper knowing is beyond mind. Intuition, or the wisdom, the heart, is deeper level than thinking, words, judging, weighing the pros and cons. And so, our whole life we're thinking constantly from morning to night. You must put the brakes on and cultivate the state of not thinking. The same like you can put your hand on and not use your hand. So, it's a question of habit and training. In order to access this state of no mind, you have to be okay not knowing. The present moment is unknown, unknowable. That which is known is the past. For example, in a sports game, the game is happening. Someone's on the side talking about the game, the sportscaster. But by the time they see and process and speak, that's not the present moment, it's long gone, it's the past. The present moment can't be caught, can't be captured, can't be contained in words. The present moment is everything everywhere at once. And so to be present means no mind, no thoughts. Because the thoughts are in the past. The mind is bringing us into the past. The future is just a projection, a calculation based on the past. And so to be present means no mind, no thinking. There's a space between the thoughts. So instead of continually pushing for more, because it's never enough. There's no amount of words or answers will ever satisfy. So we have to find that resting place here and now. If the goal is always there and then, somewhere in the future, we can never arrive. So the goal must be here and now, and the words don't cut it. The word peace has nothing to do with the experience of peace. The word love is not love. The word flower is not a flower. The concept in my mind of flower doesn't exist at all. It's nothing to, the living flower is not even an object. It's a process, a living process. I used to think that there were flowers and weeds and different, it's just life. Life is flowering, but there's no flower. There's no separate flower, separate from the plant. And so all the concepts in the mind are like this, completely false. And so to experience the truth directly, we must go beyond thinking into awareness. Awareness is a state of deep listening and receptivity and openness. Thinking is this very like focused, sharp, like cutting into pieces. Right? So awareness, these are both different capacities, but awareness is deeper level. And so the awareness is an expansive, quiet receptivity. And in that state, we get so much, we can connect with the infinite power and wisdom of the universe. So this is why we recommend taking a little time each day to tune yourself and to be present. Because in the path of yoga, we see the goal of life is not over there. It's not in the future. It's not in a future version of yourself. It's not in any of the ideas we have about the past or the future. The goal is here and now. This is the goal of life. This is the purpose of life, is this moment. And as long as we make the goal and the purpose somewhere else, then this moment will always be not enough. Will just be some inferior, some way to get over there. And so if we never give the value to this moment, then it's impossible to be present, because you can only be present now. You can be present in the idea of there. And so this is why it's of utmost importance to master this art of being present. Being present, when you're present, you forget about yourself. When you're present, you feel very light. Yeah, to be present like in the flow. And so the sports players experience that when they're in the game, in the flow, in that presence. And so in the same way, we cultivate that state of alertness, of aliveness, of in-tuneness through simple foundational practices, right? Because in order to shift the pattern, the way of breathing, of reacting, our thoughts, emotions, everything, it has to be a general shift. We have to completely shift the underlying rhythm. And so this requires repetitive training. The same like if you want to train, for example, in tennis, you're doing a certain type of spin, you have to train how to hit the ball, exactly like when to flip the racket and where to contact everything. And so it's a precise calibration. You have to practice again and again. In the same way, if you practice how to make your breath very calm, to center your spine, to gather your attention, and to go beyond your mind, It's a slight maneuver, but this will activate and unlock so much power and wisdom within you. The presence is the goal. To be present is the goal, because we see that even the people, the rich people, the famous people, the beautiful people, the powerful people, they're also suffering. And so if those things would have fixed it, then they wouldn't be suffering. But they are. Why? Because disconnected from oneself, disconnected from the present moment. So if you're present, then you don't have anything, you still feel so wealthy, so alive. So the presence is the greatest treasure. It's like you have ice cream, and before you know it, it's gone. You ate it, but you didn't even taste it. Or you savor the ice cream. You enjoy it. You can taste it. You experience it. That's the difference between presence and no presence. Life becomes flavorless, mechanical, like I'm supposed to do that. But there's no taste. There's no there's no depth. And so this is why we recommend to take time each day to center yourself, tune yourself, and fix your mind at one point so you can go beyond your mind. This will improve your thinking. It's not going to reduce your capacity to think. It will only make your thought power stronger, more efficient. But as we create these pathways inside and activate different glands and biochemistry, everything, and it's like a whole new life. And so this is the alchemy of this tuning, or yoga. Yoga is a tuning, harmonization. And through a simple daily practice, you can establish that aliveness in your body, heart, and mind. Like if you wash your clothes, wash and wash, they get clean and nice. You wash the bathroom, it becomes very nice. In the same way, you clean yourself, your body, heart, and mind every day, not just the surface, but all the deeper layers, and you start to shine naturally. You know, that inner beauty, inner wisdom, inner joy. So the practice is not a big deal. The practice is just like cleaning. The practice is not the purpose. The purpose is to be in tune and to recognize that in-tuneness and to move from that place, to speak from that place, to live from that place more and more. To honor that, to give value to that. That in-tuneness is here and now. It's not a story about the past or the future. There's a big pile of questions. Let's see what's up. Why do you think did we humans, society, lose the connection to ourselves? What would be possible if everyone would introduce it back into their daily life? We have to lose it to find it, to value it, something. It's part of the journey. We have to lose it. We have to forget everything. We have to be humbled. We have to beg. We have to suffer. It's the only way. And this is the Dark Ages too. So in the Dark Ages it's especially toxic. But that's also perfect. Everything is perfectly in its place. And would it be possible for everyone to? At the deep level, there's only that presence. Only on the surface, is like this ego, I don't know. It's only on the surface. at the essence, at the core of everything in existence, every molecule and cell, is that presence, is that oneness. And so it's not that we have to, it's everything's in the right time. Everything is a timing. This is why the yogis are doing this alchemy, to speed up the process of evolution. Otherwise, it'll take forever to get to release all of that and to, and so that's why through the practice, we speed up the process. But before presence was very natural, before we were so civilized, before the civilized world, where we're completely bombarded with information continuously, then it was obvious, like it is for all the rest of creation. Now, because everything's so convenient and so controlled, and everything's so mental, our life is so mental, then we're just disconnected. And actually, also because we're living in a false system of time. This Monday through Friday, 9 to 5 is not real time. It's not the cosmic time. It's not the time of nature and the seasons and the planets. It's business time, consumer time. And so this, weekend and weekdays, and this has nothing to do. So we're existing in a false time paradigm, separate from the rest of creation. And then this, the whole life, like the purpose of life is career. This whole thing puts tremendous pressure. And so there's for so many reasons, it's hard to pinpoint just one. It's like everything for every reason. But what's the good news is that it's so extreme, the level of disconnection, that in this time period, in a very short period of time, we can reconnect at the deepest level. It's with just a little bit of effort and love, one can reach that highest state, which is simply to be present. Right? That presence itself is happiness. That presence itself is peace. We have a wrong understanding of happiness. We often equate happiness with that feeling of getting what you want. I get what I want, I feel excited. Right? And that's happiness. But actually, that's not happiness. That's a kind of temporary intoxication, like eating sugar. I eat sugar and I feel excited. And then afterwards, it goes away. The same, like I get a car, I win, whatever, I get what I want. For a moment, I get excited, but then very, very quickly it goes away, and either leaves a bad taste or leaves some fear, like what if I lose it, or what if it changes or something. And so that has nothing to do with happiness. It's a kind of desire. But the happiness is this state of not wanting anything. Like after you eat a good meal, you're not hungry, you don't want to eat anything, you're content, full, don't want anything. This is much closer to peace. It's not a high, it's not a momentary high, but it's a kind of depth of presence and peace for no reason. This is also super important. The real love, the real happiness, the real joy for no reason. Right? It's reasonlessness, conditionless. Okay. What do you teach your children for their life? More like, I'm learning from my children. I need to learn about life from children, not teach them about life. Geez. Yeah. Are you able to see or feel the aura of people? If yes, describe it. So, when you become quiet and start to listen to life, not just humans, but all the species, like really tune in with the plants and the nature and the earth and everything. And then you can see many things, you can feel many things. right? You can see the person's emotions in their body swimming around around all the thoughts and emotions, everything. We're like carrying them in this kind of like a bubble, and we're swimming in them. And so you can see different things, but it's you probably wouldn't want to. You don't want to see things. I mean, that's the thing. Everyone's like, oh, on visions and these kind of things. But it's like, no, you don't want that. It's often uncomfortable, and it's just another distraction. It's like another infinite TV station too. Like it's fine to have these experiences. Also, mystical experiences, good, but it's not the goal. It's not the point. So. One exercise they do for training to see the prana, see the life forces, you go into nature with the trees or the waterfall, and then you unfocus your eyes and look at the tops of the trees. And then you can see these dancing little white balls of light around the tops of the trees. Then from there you can kind of train yourself to see that in the sky. Certain places it's concentrated and less concentrated. There are different exercises with your eyes and unfocusing your eyes that you can do. Another good practice for cultivating that depth of vision is a candle gazing meditation. This is very powerful for concentration also. You light a candle about 1/2 meter in front where there's no wind. And then you lock your gaze on the tip of the candle, eventually without blinking. And you put a timer, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever. You can do it once a day, twice a day. Wow, this will really help the inner vision and for sharpening the mind. What is the purpose of life? Yeah, this moment is the purpose, right? Or there is no purpose, right? There's from the point of view of the individual, there is no purpose. It's not about me, it's not a story about me, it's not about humans either also. It's everything at once. Everything's happening together at once as one whole. There's just one thing that's like going like this. It's just one. It's the one thing happening. And so the one thing has no purpose. Some say this creation is for that oneness to see itself, right? To experience and see itself. But it's still not a purpose. Not a purpose. There's no finish line. There's no goal. There's definitely moving somewhere. It's moving in a direction. The yogis would say that once you have a human birth, you have to purify just through the process of purification, then you merge back into the spirit. So, but there's no purpose. Otherwise, we're too serious, and we're always trying to find the purpose. And you have infinite purposes. You have infinite journeys, infinite soulmates, infinite things to accomplish. Every day there are infinite purposes. Every day there are infinite journeys. So you don't limit yourself, and we make this big thing, like gotta find my purpose, and then it becomes such a trip. So the purpose is here and now. To be present here and now, that will lead you wherever you need to go for sure. But if you're not present here and now, then wherever you're going, you won't be there either. You won't know how to be present. Even if you get where you're going, you don't know how to be present, then you can't be present then and there if you can't be present here and now. So either way you look at it, you have to master presence here and now. Do you do other exercise outside of yoga? Yeah, for me, yoga is actually not exercise. Yoga is an alchemy. Exercise, one should play sports. Sports are essential, right? All the yogis had sports because you learn so much on so many levels through team and individual and about training and about everything. The sports is incredible. Sports is also improvisation. When you're playing a sport, you don't know what's going to happen, so you have to be very present. So playing sport, dancing is also really important. More important than physical yoga because it's free, it's from within. It's an expression from within that you can move the energy and tap into these archetypes and to release and all of that. So dancing is super important. And I think fitness like this, like we do, like a high intensity interval training, animal movements, this kind of this kind of practices are incredibly powerful, incredibly useful. So yeah, a lot of physicality outside of yoga. I think gardening too. Gardening is good. It's good to garden and build things. How do you find excitement for life? No, you have to be present and excitement will find you. You have to be still. You have to have deep roots. You have to have an open heart. You open the doors, open the windows, your heart, your mind, everything. And you just, and excitement will come to you. If you're running around looking for it, then you're not gonna find it. And especially important to get away from humans and go into nature and to listen to the trees and listen to the plants and the earth and the insects and everyone. Because now a lot of negativity and a lot of heavy stuff. And we call that news. We call that newsworthy. We need to filter what we, the same that we don't eat trashy food. We shouldn't consume trashy information that's not necessary as much as possible. That's why they always recommend, one of the most important is silence. More and more, less talking and less eating. What was the biggest wonder you have experienced? This moment, the biggest wonder. And it keeps going on and on. It's the one big moment that never ends. I don't experience different days or anything. It's just one endless moment that's infinitely expanding. And it's not even me. It's not about me. It's not like, oh, my moment. In the present moment, there's no I. It's not my moment. It's everything everywhere. So, yeah. What do dreams tell us? Are they telling us something? Can you control them? Would you recommend that? What does our daily life tell us first? Right? We always want information somewhere, like, what about my past life? What about this one? What about that one? Well, how about we examine our life and our habits, and like this we can learn so much. We can understand so much from examining our life. Then we understand our life, we can understand more about the dreams. Dream is a kind of subconscious, unconscious, desires, habits, what you see. It was very interesting when I came to Cambodia, before phones, everything, internet, the dreams were always about like the people and the situations that they have in their daily life. There's now, because we don't sleep well, we don't dream well also. Right? Our sleep is compromised because of all the electricity. It's affecting the brain chemistry, it's affecting the whole biorhythm, and eating and cell phones and so as a result now sleeping, not good sleeping, also dreaming. The dreaming is off. Before, in the ancient cultures, they would dream like the myths and the wisdom for the people. I mean, in many of the tribes in the Polynesia, Australia, like these areas, they have the veils between the waking and the dreaming state are very thin. Basically, in Sanatana Dharma, in the eternal Dharma, the teachings of presence, they say that what we consider the waking state is just like another dream. So we have to observe the themes arising in our life, in our dreams. I did a retreat with this Jungian projective psychoanalyst named Jeremy Taylor, I think. And he had worked in the prison, so he had done like hundreds of thousands of dreams, because he had these prisoners writing their dreams. And there's a very interesting approach where someone shares their dream, And then each person takes it as their own dream. And they say, in my dream, I see this, I live that. And so it's a projection. You're projecting, you're taking their dream as like an archetype or a myth or story. And then each person is, through their intuitive process, unpacking the dream, but in a very personal way. So it's very interesting. There's different ways, different approaches. Before that 5-day workshop, before that 5-day retreat, they said, keep a dream journal, like for 2 weeks. I never remembered any of my dreams. And within a day or two, I was writing like 6 dream sequences, all these. So if you set the intention, you can do it for sure. You can work with your dreams. Because it's like, what a waste of time anyway. We have this time at night. When I started on the path, I was like 18, 19, and I felt like, I wasted so much of my life already, and I'm sleeping so much. So I was trying to reduce my sleep as much as possible. But for sure, if you want to work with a dreaming state, most important is to train your nervous system. So when you go into sleep, you're going in this very, very peaceful way. Are you scared of death? I'm not actively scaring myself. I don't know, I haven't had really so many people close to me die, but I reflect very often on death because death is a beautiful part of life. Death is not wrong, death is not ugly, death is not like this. Without death, life is impossible. Totally impossible. All of the topsoil, all the sand, everything is the death, and life is death. There are 2 parts of this same movement, the same flow. And so by negating death, and we're negating life. Now that death happens somewhere else, we don't kill our food, we don't see people die. Here I witnessed my father-in-law die at home with no medicine, no doctor, 3 days, just like head first. All the family around, everybody in the zone, like monks chanting, massaging him. Nobody, everybody was, and then he passed, and boom, everyone's in the zone too. Everyone knew what to do. It's part of life. Same like having children here. And it's just part of life. Everyone knows what to do. So there's something really beautiful just in being part of the flow of life. Now we have all these complicated stories and ideals, but life is never going to be that. And so we put ourselves in an impossible situation. So meditation is a kind of death. Sleep is kind of death. Exhale is kind of death. Inhale, birth, exhale, death. And so you have to master the flow of life and death, the breath. Nowadays, so many people doing things because of fear of death, fear of life, and then they freeze their brain. So that's why we recommend radical presence. Be radically present each moment from now on. And it's like, then you never die. Then you're always, it's this like radical aliveness. Like a child. You see the child has that presence, that aliveness, that openness. So that's what we're cultivating through this practice of tuning. Question, do you see colors or pictures when meditating, or just all black? Did it change over the years? You'll go through different phases. Everyone has a different journey within that. Some people never see anything. That's totally fine, because again, it can be a distraction. So you just come directly. Some people will see colors, and it helps them, like the focus, like, oh, this blue color comes, and then I focus on it and I go deep. So that's good. If that happens, you do that. But don't expect any color or anything. Sometimes it's just like a light, like a blinding light. For me, when I look up, when I go in this eye lock, and my spine is straight, and my breath becomes nice, then for me it's like a blinding light. It's like but it could equally be a blinding darkness. The key is to get into the zone where you forget yourself, you forget your body, you forget your mind. You forget all the problems. Just for a moment, not continuously, you can pick it up, everything is waiting, but to be able to shift to this free state. So that's why we keep reminding you, come back to center. We have the habit of being scattered all over the place. We let our minds run around like spoiled kids on, hyped up on candy, just whining, complaining all day, every day. And so we have to discipline in the spine, in the breath, in the focus, the gaze, in the thinking habit. Tell yourself, no, stop. Just keep reminding yourself. It doesn't matter, you have to do it 10,000 times. Eventually, it clicks. Like riding a bicycle. Eventually it just clicks. So it will click. You can train that presence. You can train to be present. If you don't train, you'll never be present. Right? Maybe like once, it's like you never train to shoot a basketball. How can you shoot it? So you have to retrain your breathing, your nervous system. Which is why we recommend doing 100-day practice. We do a 100-day challenge when you go to do every day for 100 days daily tuning practice. And then very clearly, after 100 days, you'll know if there's a benefit or not. Right? To be in tune, to warm yourself up, to awaken your body, heart, and mind. If there's a benefit, then that would be great. If we could improve even marginally the quality of our life, the aliveness in the love, the connection with ourselves, that would be a miracle. So the recommendation is 100 days. The best is practice at the same time every day. First thing in the morning, before talking, before eating, before working. Tune your body, heart, and mind. It only takes a few minutes. You can do recommendation is 30 minutes, to dedicate 30 minutes, which equals 2% of your day. You invest 2% of your time and energy back into yourself, and you get 1,000%. You don't lose anything. You definitely don't lose. It's like watering the garden. You take time to water the garden, that's the greatest act of love, to nourish and nurture yourself, to honor yourself, to be with yourself, to be yourself. So this is why we recommend dedicate a little time each day to tune your instrument. Okay, no, you don't have 30 minutes and 15 minutes. In 15 minutes, you do just 5 minutes of simple movement, 5 minutes breathing, 5 minutes stillness meditation. And boom, you do it every day, 100 days. And then maybe after 50 days, you can increase. You can increase and do 8 minutes of meditation. Or you can do 10 minutes of movement. But the key is to establish that rhythm. It can always increase. It will grow. If it's needed to, it can grow. But to have that touch point every day, after a few weeks, it becomes difficult not to do it. It's like drinking coffee. Like when you don't drink coffee, and you usually drink coffee, you feel flat. In the same way, through the daily tuning practice, you're cultivating a depth of aliveness in your chemistry and your cells and your blood and your organs, your breath. Did you ever have an out-of-body experience? You saw your body from outside. Can you control it? How does it feel like? Every moment is out-of-body experience. Every moment is out-of-body experience. Who's in the body? I don't know who's where. I don't know who. I don't know anywhere. I don't know anything. But definitely, all the experience is out of the body. Yeah. What's that expression? You're a spirit living a bodily existence, not a body living a spiritual existence. Something like that. You know, there's like, look over here. Like, gosh, these things. This should make it clear. Like, even to be a body, what does it even mean to experience a body? Does anyone experience this? I mean, does anyone experience this? You know, because this is also the real world. This is 100% the real world. It's crazy, you know? And there's so many layers. Like, really, it's unbelievable. This is nervous system. You know, like I say, this is me, I am this body, but I have no idea what's going on in my body, ever. Even if I studied for my whole life, I have some abstract information. Something's here, something's there. But what's going on in this vein in this moment? You know, what ends up, I have no idea, I would never know, I don't know. So my own body is a complete mystery. And then they have this, these are different layers of the energy body. And then there's infinite journeys within the whole system. So everybody's astrally traveling. When you listen to someone tell a story and you start to like, and go into this kind of downtime trance, this is your astral traveling. You know, we're all the time we're not as contained. Like, you know, where are we? Actually, that's a good question. Where are we? You know, we have these like memories and ideas. Like I can think of the ocean, but is that ocean inside my mind? Where is that? Where is this happening? Where is this screen? Where is the projector? It's very interesting. The yogis would explore this waking, dreaming, sleeping state, and deep sleep, and the beyond. No, they say, if it's true, it must be true in all of these states. It can't be only true in some of them. This who am I? Who am I? Because the who am I in the waking state and the dreaming state is very different. So what happened? And then in the deep sleep state, there's no I. So it's very slippery. So one of the whole paths of yoga is this investigation, who am I? It's not about finding an answer. There's no answer. It's just about removing that which you're not. We have so many concepts. Essentially, everything that we think we are is a trap. All the stories, you are infinite. You are beyond any category or story or anything. And so this practice of who am I, of self-inquiry, leads you into the state of silence and stillness. In that moment, you are who you are. No explanation, no justification, no reason. You can be yourself, but you can't know yourself. It's not like an obituary or like some like biography, a bunch of stories. That is a tiny little fraction of the infinite, right? Any idea of myself, I just pick and choose some situations, and then I manipulate them and then that's myself. But no, that's not myself actually. That's a story based on a very limited perspective. So, and that story is changing, and I'm the only one who has that story. Everyone else has their own completely different story about everything. So, to be yourself means no mind, with no thoughts, no ideas, no rules, no patterns. When you're quiet, then everything you do is yourself. You can't not be yourself. How could the banana tree not be itself? How could the river not be itself? So, because we think ourself is some ideal in the future. We think ourself is something supposed to be something else. So that self we can't be. No matter how hard you try, you can't be that self. So when you stop trying, striving for a goal in the future, then automatically you can be yourself. Still, things will happen in the future. It's not that we're not going somewhere and like this, but it's the identity is not based on that. It's not proving something. It's not approval. You are wholly, fully yourself in this moment. You can't be more whole. There's no way to be more whole than you are in this moment. And that wholeness will continue to expand. You continue to evolve, but that doesn't make this moment less than or incomplete or wrong or something. You have to see clearly you can only be yourself here and now. And to be yourself is a surrender, it's not a control. Our whole life is a control trip. That's why we recommend to clean your temple, clean your body, heart, and mind, clean your clothes. If you clean your clothes every day, you get into fresh clothes, it feels really good. It's much easier to be yourself in a fresh clothes when your heart is clean, when your mind is clean. So you have to clean every day. Has electricity and blue light an influence on our energy? Like how it's flowing or not? Yes. Electricity has completely affected our brain chemistry, the serotonin and melatonin levels, and the way that our eyes are processing flashing lights now with the cell phones and digital devices. Also, it's because it's not like looking at real color or depth or like this. It's just a bunch of flashing lights. And so this is very much affecting the internal rhythm, the way of breathing, the brain chemistry. Yeah, electricity. Not only the electricity, and this is, but also the materials that our house, the materials that our houses are made of, and the material our clothes are made of as well. Very much affecting us. All these chemicals and process, like we're poisoning ourselves with our bedding and our clothing and everything. How long did it take you to grow your beard? Why do you have it? So this beard is approximately 500 million years old. And this is like the abridged version. The beard has been everywhere, and it's in everything. It's because the yogis, first of all, the beard is like a forest. It's natural. And we should ask why someone does not have a beard, because that requires effort to remove the beard. But this beard is happening very naturally. And so yeah, whenever it grew, I've rarely shaved my beard since a child. Every now and then when it gets here and it's like sweaty Cambodian, they're dreadlocks, and my wife's like, come on, and I'm like, okay. And now this is very short. This is very short. But the beard is an externalization of the nervous system as well. So the yogis used to like store their wisdom, store their power as an antenna to connect. There's some studies done with the Native Americans too, with the long hair and such, how the way of In certain traditions, they do that with hair and a beard. But the beard is very natural. For men, the beard is like in certain cultures. In Cambodia, it's like, when I came here, I was in the village, I was living in the villages, and for them, it looks like an animal. They'd be like, look at that pubic hair on your face. It was crazy. The little kids would laugh. I mean, they wouldn't laugh. They would scream and cry and run away because it literally looked like an animal. They didn't see people with hair on their face like that. What is the biggest takeaway you want people to have during this retreat? Biggest takeaway, take yourself. Or leave yourself, forget yourself. I don't know which one it is. But to be present. I mean, and when you're present, then you're deeply yourself, and also you forget yourself. Presence is a skill. It's an action. Like thinking is an activity, awareness is an activity. Shifting from thinking to awareness. From this like a constant banging it into pieces, smashing into pieces, and to this state of deep presence and listening. Then life is whispering so many sweet secrets into your ears, into your heart every moment. And you still figure the shit out that you need to about all the problems yourself. It's much easier when not obsessing, when you can just breathe and then be connected, and then the answers always come. What scares you? What gives you hope? I don't need hope. I don't need hope. I have complete trust in life that this is for me. There's no need to hope something will be better or something, or be optimistic or pessimistic or anything. Everything is what it is. It doesn't matter what I think about it. I can never understand it. And so what brings me joy, all this hope and fear is in the past and future. In the present moment, it's not really a question when you're present. So what takes me out of the present moment? Maybe I can frame it like that. What takes me out of the moment? Even getting taken out of the moment is part of being in the moment still. I still have I still have a lot of responsibilities. And it's not separate from being in the moment. For many years I used to do 3 or 4 hours of chanting and puja a day. Puja means some kind of ritual worship, either pouring different herbs in water, collecting flowers, lighting lamps. I would do it for hours a day for years. And then I became very busy and I didn't have time. And in that moment I understood that everything I do in my life is like a puja. Every action, every meeting, every moment, the smallest and the biggest, to bring that same intention, to bring that same sense of presence, as if I'm worshiping the feet of my guru, as if I'm doing lighting the lamp, whatever I'm doing, then it's not that daily life is separate from that, but that the call is to treat each moment with that same reverence. What do you do in your day? I mean, many things happen. I'm not sure which ones I'm doing. Life is happening and many things are happening. This is a wild garden, and there are many projects. I have many different interests, and over the years, I've done many different things. One major thing that I'll do is dancing. I'm dancing a lot, regularly, for a couple hours. It's really important as a means of expression and release and aliveness, expression of aliveness, and to stay connected with my body. I'm working, and now I'm working a lot on different projects around the mission and stuff. I like poetry, I like chanting. I like to Yeah, I love to learn and discover. So I've had so many phases of learning and so many experiments, and there's so many that are ongoing. And so it's like, I feel like I'm planting seeds all the time and then just waiting and seeing which ones sprout. And it's always a surprise. I forget, I'm planting so many seeds, I forget it. Because I'm not attached to any particular one. And then different things are sprouting at different times, and it's always beautiful. So for me, my strongest connection is with this continued deepening, like a learning, not in order to get somewhere, also not learning like learning ancient Greek culture or something like that, like not learning information, but an integration, a deeper integration or connection with life, you could say. And so I give tremendous importance to that and value to that, and so I'm pursuing that every moment. That's my intention every moment. What is your purpose in life? Me or one's? One's purpose. Every moment is the purpose. You're going to the toilet, the purpose is going to the toilet. Making food, the purpose is making the food. Otherwise, it's like, oh, I'm here, but my purpose is over there. You know, everything's always over there. Life is over there. The good is over there. You see how wild it is? We've created this bucket of over there, and we put all the good stuff over there, and we take everything from here, and it's not correct. It's not going to work. It's not. Has it worked for anyone? Has anyone made it? Is anyone there? No one is there. There's no one over there. No, everything is here. We've been duped. We've been tricked. It's a hoax. There's no over there. You'll never arrive. It's that dangling carrot. It's always just a little bit further. But my better self is everything's there, and so now is inferior to there. Here now is inferior to there. And so there's no value to be here. So here just becomes like a excuse for getting there. So you'll never be at peace. You'll never be enough. So that's why we say, here and now, in this moment, enough, for no reason. And to marinate in that state of enoughness, of wholeness. Like now is my purpose. I am in my purpose. I am in my presence. Regardless of the success or failure, it has nothing to do with it. Nothing to do with the purpose. Ego, tell me more. Ego is this me, mine, my preferences, my ideas, my thoughts, my people, my values, everything. From the point of view of the individual, we're in the center of the universe. Each individual, not just humans, but each individual is held together by some force for a period of time until it disintegrates back and everything goes back into the universe. And so there's a cohesiveness, an attraction of the molecules, and also of the spirit and the body. Everything sticks together. And that cohesiveness can be called the ego, because for temporarily it separates itself and then relates everything in relation to itself. And so it's a natural process. It's a kind of bridge that allows us to connect. And it's like clothes. After a certain time, you outgrow it. If you want to evolve and continue in a deeper level, you have to go beyond the ego. Right? And so they say ego is part of the mind. There are 4 parts of mind. It's a manas, ahamkar, buddhi, chitta. So the 4 parts of mind, one is the thinking mind, processing information, like a mechanical, like that. That's the one we're usually in, called manas. Man comes from that word, manas. Manas is the processing sense information, seeing, hearing, thinking, remembering. This is a mechanical mind. We're mostly only in mechanical mind. Then we have chitta. Chitta is the storehouse of all information, everything the database is pulling from, the collective and personal. Then we have the ahamkar. Ahamkar is the ego. It means this the I, my family, my car, my leg, my arm, like this. Something attaches a to everything, this me, this I, this. So this is the ego. And then the 4th aspect of mind is buddhi. Buddhi is the Buddha. Buddhi is the wisdom mind, a deeper knowing, the deep mind, which usually is inactive because the manas, the mechanical mind, is so noisy. So the ego is projected in every thought, in everything we think and feel. It's coloring everything, absolutely everything. Everything is the ego. And the ego we can use the ego to our advantage. We can be controlled unconsciously by habits, by old past habits, etc. But then if we know how to work with the willpower and to program and tune yourself, then you can use your ego, you can pattern, you can set your ego up to be very helpful. Otherwise, it becomes very, very tricky. Because the ego always wants to win, all these kinds of things. Okay, does every person have the same potential of being spiritual? Or let's say having the same sensitivity to it, like a gift? So 2 things. One, what does it mean to be spiritual? For me, I don't like this concept of spiritual because it makes it seem like you have the spiritual life and the not spiritual life. But what we mean by spiritual is just to be alive. Like that oneness, the interconnectedness of life, to be present, to be creative, to be this. So in this perspective, there aren't different lives. There's only one life. There's not my work life and my family life and my fun life and my whatever life and all these different lives. And then my spiritual life, oh, now I have my spiritual costume and my spiritual things and like that. No, that's the trip. That's the ego. Right? The ego has all these lives, all these stories, right? One life. There's one life. It's not even a human life, and it's the one life, and that's the spiritual. Just to be. It's not something separate. It's not something extra. It's not something special. And so everybody is that. There's no question. Everybody is that. However, everyone has different gifts. Some people are great with computing numbers. Some people are very sensitive to color and texture. Some people, and so some people have there's different gifts on the mystical path. And so it doesn't matter what gifts we're born with though, because if you do the proper training, the same like playing a sport or learning a foreign language or a musical instrument, then you can train yourself to be present. Being present is not spiritual. Being present is natural. Right now we're living in an unnatural state, continually trapped. So no matter where you're starting from, right, it's like anyone can grow a garden. You see in Israel, or in the Middle East, they create incredible oasis of beautiful, lush garden, even from the desert. So through the daily practice, you're cultivating a beautiful garden. Your body is a garden, your heart is a garden, your mind is a garden. So it doesn't matter where you start from. Do you have any advice on finding or choosing the right partner? Yes. You have to be the right partner yourself. You be the right partner. You be a beautiful human. You find the wholeness within yourself. You find the joy. You connect your breath between the nostrils. You make yourself, the same thing, you want to find the guru, you become the best student. Make yourself the best student of life. Become receptive. Learn to receive. Like this, we want to be the partner, you have to be, at home in yourself, not desperate. If you're desperate, we don't want that, that's not the energy. No, wow, when you're alive, deeply alive, you're going to attract that to you in every way. So don't wait for the partner. Work on yourself anyway. The point is not the partner. The point is yourself. So why delay? Why put it off? No. Take care of yourself. Then you get many partners. Not just the romantic partner, but creative partner, strategic partner, friendly partner, different partners, some child friends, partners, people, so many people coming. Animal partners and friends, everything. You clean your heart, you clean your mind, then that light shining from within, there's nothing more beautiful. Nothing more beautiful than that. What is your average phone screen time? Unfortunately, I have been responsible for many, many administrative and business-oriented tasks in these last 3 years since COVID, and that has thrust me very much with the screen. Only since 1 month, have I started to work with ChatGPT. And in a very intense way, this last month I've used very, very intensely. And wow, it's incredible. My background was theoretical linguistics, and I was working in linguistic modelization and programming in the early 2000s. And it was so, it was like, they're never gonna have machine learning because there's no language model. And they still don't have a language model. There's still no language model. Linguistics is so far away from any kind of workable model. But it just jumped over it. It was not even necessary. It's incredible. So screens, yeah. I don't have a good answer for that. I only got my first smartphone in 2017, 18. But now it's been programmed so deeply into every aspect of life and society and so on. And it's definitely stealing the energy, stealing our energy and draining. Of course, it can be a tool, but it requires so much strength and resolve and everything. And there's so much distraction, endless distraction. So that's tough. In Cambodia, there's not really a movement you should limit your time on the phone. They don't have that idea. It's not like, oh, I'm too much, maybe I should not. That's not a thing. And so here it's really wild because it's no, the older generation didn't have that, and the younger generation does. And so we'll see. It's definitely I can see very clearly people's nervous system and their brain is changing. From childhood, they have these flashing, and it's really affecting the nervous system and the brain and the chemistry. Okay, last couple questions, yeah, lightning round. When you get triggered or get challenged by a situation, how do you manage your emotion or reaction to that situation? Perhaps you have a specific breathing technique or ritual or something that prevents the intensity of the reaction. So yeah, that's a great question. And my recommendation is not in the moment, but every day you train your nervous system, you train your breath every day, not in the crisis moment, but every day, ideally twice a day. You take a shower in the morning and the evening. You do your breathing meditation in the morning time, evening time, so that your baseline becomes a completely, it's just absorbs it. It's just, by training to be comfortable in the uncomfortableness, by training your nervous system to be stable and relaxed every day, right, then the trigger loses, first of all, it loses so much of its power. If not, it becomes like an ant on an elephant, Or if it does arise, it goes much more quickly, and then you say, okay, and then you continue your practice. But it's not in that moment that you want to try to catch it. It has to be part of your life rhythm, your life strategy. It's very difficult in that moment. But by doing the regular training, then all of a sudden it will just go away. The thing that was triggering you, it just goes away, and you didn't even know it. You don't even know. It's not by obsessing over the things that we don't want. We must obsess over what we want. We must focus on what we want in our life, not what we don't want. I want the peace. I want the joy. And to really, not as an idea, but as an experience, we have to focus on that again and again. And the more and more you're present, the more and more you have peace, then whatever that things were, they just fall away by themselves. Okay, 3 more. Have you ever thought of offering longer and more varied courses, retreats in the future? So, as it would be, over the last 15 years, we have done several different things. In the first couple of years, it was minimum 5-day stay. But people could come any day except silent day, and had to stay minimum 5 days. Some people were staying for weeks or months. Then later we had minimum 10-day stay from 2013 to 2015. Then in 2015 we started doing 10-day, 6-day, 21-day. And then we focused on 6-day and 10-day. And then we discovered that 6 was really, people would say, I want to stay for 10 days, but after 8 or 9 days, they'd be like, what are you doing next? Where do I go? Don't tell me what to do, And I was like, oh. After 6 days, people were like, wow, that was great. And so we were, okay, 6 is good. People can digest that. And then COVID happened, and then we were just open for like years in a row. We had people staying for months at a time. And then we came back here, and I was like, you know what? I want to do just like 3-month retreats. Everyone has to come for 3 months. And then I had some people that were staying for a month or for 3 months. And what I found is that no one was ready for it. No one was ready for it. It was a lot of like, people were not, when you go deep in that way, you have to be ready to confront all of the shadow and the negativity. And people are not taking responsibility for their shit and not working on it. Like that is the practice. And so you need a baseline already. You already have to have a strong base, like an inner fire, to be able to work with that, everything that's coming up. So I think eventually I would like to have there'll be other centers, maybe one where it'll be all long form. But what's great is because the curriculum is yourself. You know what I mean? The curriculum is it's not about the yoga, and so it's different every time. It's a kind of like it's meeting each person where they are in that moment, and giving permission, giving the map to home. Focusing only on 4 or 5 yoga postures each morning. Is this to bring us more into presence? How and why did you choose these postures? I imagine they are to ground the body. Yeah. So what I'm trying to convey is that the posture is not separate from the breath and the meditation. The whole experiment is what's called a kriya. A kriya is like a psychophysical reaction that occurs like in the body, many things in the body. So when we hold the body in a certain posture, the blood is flowing, the breath is flowing, it's activating certain parts of the spine and the chemistry, everything. And so it's like switching on, it's like turning everything on. like activating all the blood is flowing, the nervous system, the cells, the glands, the juices, and it's like it's preparing a meal. It's like a kind of reaction. And so, yeah, this is very high level object, sadhana. This is like, and it might seem very simple, but it's very deep. And so it's not about doing postures, it's about activating and tuning all the subtle layers of your physical, emotional, mental body and all the subtle bodies. So, and it's enough. What does it take to stay in shape? You don't need to do 1,000 crazy things in order to be in shape. You just, and so some people, if someone wants to really go deep in the path, then it's a different, should be practicing more than a half hour a day. Anyone who wants to be a teacher or who wants to pursue the path of awakening should be, in my opinion, minimum of 20% of the day, like 4 or 5 hours a day, right? Like any musician or sports player. But to maintain aliveness in your body, heart, and mind, then I think 20, 30 minutes a day is sufficient. How do I know that I'm actually meditating? Sometimes I feel that I do, but maybe I just sleep. Yeah. So meditation is tricky because we want something to hold on to. We want something to gauge. And we don't know what's going on, right? When we close our eyes, it's normal to feel sleepy or to sleep. So I like to describe, there's several thresholds. Meditation is a bit like getting in a rocket ship and going into outer space. Right? For the rocket ship to blast off out of the Earth's orbit, it needs a lot of fuel because of the layers of the atmosphere. Right? And there's several layers that it pierce through before it gets out of the orbit of the Earth and is free from gravity. Right? In the same way, in meditation, we're very much contained in the ego field. And it requires tremendous energy to move up and to pierce through these layers and be free from that. And so the different thresholds in the meditation are, one, sleepiness. At first we feel just sleepy. That's normal. That'll go away over time. And most of us, probably now all of us, are essentially exhausted, from life. And so, if you fall asleep a little during your practice, it's fine. It's a different quality of sleep anyway. They say the sleep in meditation is different. But it's normal when you're first practicing, the first month or so, it's like, oh, I feel sleepy, but that goes away. That'll go away with regular practice. The second one is dreamingness, like, oh, different dreamies like this. Then we have the restlessness, and then boredom. Right? And so all these we want to escape, we want to run away. But when you learn to not react, to forget, just to drop everything, be present, then eventually, poof, you can pierce through. But it doesn't matter. Actually, the good news is it doesn't matter. No matter what happens, the meditation is good. It's beneficial. Even when it's unpleasant, often it is unpleasant. Meditation is a kind of fire. And you burn the fire, and then it's like boiling the water. All the impurities are coming out. So all this shit that's in us has to come out. So meditation is the medicine to get it out. Right? The purpose of the meditation is not to feel good or have a good time. Maybe some days you're blissed out like this or that, you go, maybe, but it doesn't matter. That's not the purpose, that's not the goal. What is the goal of meditation? Right? The goal of meditation is that by undergoing this uncomfortable situation and not reacting, then the other 23 and a half hours of the day, you feel relaxed. You feel like creative, you feel connected. The purpose is to live a great life. It's not about proving something through meditation or doing it right or anything. There's no way to do it right. Meditation is doing you, you're not doing meditation. And so you just have to trust the process and you do your time. Okay, I meditate every day for 15 minutes. Bam, you put the timer at 15, you sit, Now, over time you learn how to go into deeper focus and stillness. But that also, even if you never experience that, or even if you only experience it for 1 second, in 15 minutes, you get 1 second where you forget your body and mind, and that is more precious than gold. And that's enough, right? You don't need 15 minutes, and it's not like that, right? So don't put pressure on yourself with unreasonable expectation or idea about meditation, and every expectation idea you have is wrong. There's no right understanding. Meditation is beyond the mind. It's a cleansing and integration and digestion that's going on. And it will be perfect for you each time and every moment. It's not about being good at meditation. No, it's like meditation is the car wash. You go in the car wash and you come out clean. It's pleasant, it's unpleasant, it doesn't matter. That's why we recommend do 100 days practice, and then you see, it's not about the meditation, it's about your daily life. Be bad at meditation, it's great, be bad at it, it's fine. It's still going to benefit you. This is the most important thing. Everybody says, oh, I'm no good at meditation. It's not the point. The point is not to be good at meditation. The point is that by filtering your energy in this way, then the rest of the day, you're more in tune, more aligned, more yourself. Then it means meditation is working. Okay, enough words, enough talking. Take a moment, come back to center. Find your center. Keep coming back to center. Each time you change from one scene to the next, recenter yourself, recalibrate. Make it a habit. Make a habit to be centered. Because there's two choices. Either you're in tune or you're out of tune. Either you're centered or uncentered. There's no third choice. So we have to choose. So find your center. Center of your heart. The center of your cells, the center of your mind. Oh.